well, if you're using GLP-1s, it's cheating. Like, why don't you just stop eating? Why, there's so many negative rhetoric that's out there. I have an upcoming masterclass where it's not the fact that these people don't have willpower and that you don't want to eat.
Welcome to the 12-Minute Talks podcast presented by Mom Life and Health Insurance Agency. Learn actionable insights from our guests in just 12 minutes. Each episode features business owners, entrepreneurs, and industry experts who share their experiences and strategies.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the 12-Minute Talks podcast. I'm excited to have today a returning guest, Dr. Tamara Beckford. She's a board certified emergency medicine physician, a best selling author, speaker, and CEO of Your Caring Docs, and medical director of Truly Balanced Wellness Care. Dr. Beckford, thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited about today's conversation.
Yeah, so I follow you on LinkedIn from when we last had you on the podcast, and I'm like, oh, it seems like she's obviously still a doctor, also based on our conversation now. But I see that she's doing a lot more things about helping professionals with their stress, with eating, their emotions. There's a lot that goes there. But before we get into that, can you tell the audience, for those that maybe don't know who you are yet, a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So I am a board certified emergency medicine physician. So I am trained to do emergency medicine. And I do have two companies. One is Your Care and Docs, and the other is our Truly Balanced Wellness Care. So Truly Balanced Wellness Care, I'm the co-founder and CEO of that company. And there we help those who are high achieving professionals who are looking for ways to be able to reduce not only their stress but also to help with weight care and weight management, and we do so in more than one way. So we do have our coaching program for where we do help individuals who need some support with weight management through coaching and individual support that way. And we also do that through our clinical acumen for where we do prescribe medications, specifically compounded medications for patients who are looking for support with weight care and those who are currently in Texas or the Iowa area. So if any of those are you, we are happy to be able to help to take care of you.
Fantastic. So yeah, that's definitely something that, like, I do health insurance, and I hear a lot of people asking me like, "Oh, does my insurance cover all these new
Yeah.
types of medications?" So does that include that type of prescribing those special medications as well, or not really?
So we are here to help those who are having a hard time getting the medication because it's being denied. So with those, we are there as a fill-in for those patients who are looking for the support, but unfortunately, their insurance companies probably say that they don't fit the criteria that they have for those medications, but they do fit the criteria outside of that, where it's like they are gaining weight rapidly, their blood sugars are borderline to becoming diabetic. They are in perimenopause and having insulin resistance. During those phases, patients are noted to have a lot of weight gain, and sometimes the numbers are not looking the way to get it qualified through the insurance, but at times the patient still needs and they want to be able to reverse this. They don't want to get to the point where they're diagnosed with the diabetes when they're in that pre phase, and they'll be able to do something about it. So, because there is that need for those who need the services there, that's where I come in. So, I'm able to help to fill in for those services. Because of that, it would be done outside of those insurances. And so it is self pay at this point.
Yeah, that makes sense. It is a very specialized service as well that you are providing. And
Mhm.
yeah, as we all know, insurance sometimes it's hard to get things approved. They want to do like what we call step therapy, right? Like try the generic and then this other one, and then okay, we'll approve the brand's name, right? At the end of the day, it is a business, and they're also looking at their bottom dollar as well.
Mhm.
But I find it interesting. I've noticed that these types of medications, they tend to be more easily accessible for people that are on group insurance, like through their
Mhm.
employer, and not
Mhm.
necessarily the marketplace. Has
Right.
that maybe been your experience as well, as a doctor?
Well, with what the patients that we take care of, a lot of times there are a couple of categories that they fit in. One, they might not have gotten it approved, whether they are in their company, especially at the beginning of this year. There are a lot of patients who their company's insurance no longer approve the medication, and it all depends on the category and their little intricacies that happens behind the scenes that none of us are really privy to, but we're privy to the results, which is unfortunately your medication is no longer being covered. However, the patients still need these medications. There's so many different categories that help that these medications help. Now, a lot of times people are also having to deal with if they're not being covered, there where should I go? Now there are also compounding pharmacies that help and have been able to supplement those who need the support. And now some of the pharmaceutical companies who make the medications, they are now having a direct pay version. Um, which is good, but when we look at the cost for it, it's pretty expensive. So being able to have an additional service, such as those of us who provide support through the compounding pharmacies, that helps to minimize the out-of-pocket cost for our patients. And then they're also able to still get the support that they need in order to lose the weight and to make themselves be healthy and a healthier version of themselves. There is this rhetoric out there that it's cheating if you're using and specifically we're talking about like the GLP ones, and you're eating because it's really a matter of you against physiology. Like your body naturally put you're in certain states, and so if you are in a certain state, then your body is going to do what it has to do. So if you are in the perimenopausal state or in menopause, then naturally your hormones are out of whack and you will
So
gain weight.
hold on. I'm gonna stop you there because I feel like it's a lot of things here that might
Yeah.
be combined, right? And I think it's great information. So what you're saying is that there's a lot of myths out there,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That
And
people are
negative myth.
saying, of course,
Yeah.
myths are usually negative, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they usually come from misinformation, I think, a lot of
Absolutely.
times. So I think it's important to have somebody as yourself, an MD, that knows what they're talking about, that it's not just, here, take this GLP-1 and you're good to go, right? Like, let's look at why all of this is happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you brought something important I think maybe isn't really talked about often, but perimenopause. Talk a little bit about that and how you're seeing maybe these medications combined with everything else that you do at Truly Balanced Wellness Care that maybe
Absolutely.
can help this specific group.
So with perimenopause, we know that our bodies start to go through changes in women. And the really crazy thing about perimenopause is that when people hear it, they're thinking like, oh, maybe that person that's in their 50s, but perimenopause really starts in the 30s. And to think like, what? I'm in my 30s and I'm going through perimenopause. Like I just finished college. I didn't even get a good 10 years of being quote unquote an adult. And now I'm going through this second huge change in life for as a woman. But part of it is that you start to have some of these symptoms, like your estrogen levels start to go down. You start losing some of your muscle mass. And one of the other thing too is that you start to gain weight around the abdominal area, and that is another sign of insulin resistance. So with these weight gain, and sometimes you start having joint pains, and then sometimes you have the mental fog. You have some of these symptoms that you can't quite put your finger on, but you just don't feel right. And yes, the weight gain portion of it is one of the secondary causes that happens because of perimenopause. So is it only that, okay, let's just balance your estrogen? There are other factors that's out there. But this weight gain that happens, unfortunately, as a woman, because we're talking about perimenopause here, as a woman who's going through it, it can sometimes wreak havoc on not just your emotions, but it can also wreak havoc on your self-esteem. It can wreak havoc on even the way that you conduct yourself. If you're a high functioning woman who is like a boss, and you are in and leading large teams, and you're having to make high powered decisions, you need to be able to go in there with a lot of confidence, and having to deal with hot flashes, having to deal with unexpected mood swings, things that at times you have not as much control over, in addition to the craving, in addition to the weight gain, in addition to the crashes in your blood sugar. That can cause a little bit of disruption in that strength and that formidable personality that got you to where you are. And no one wants to feel undermined. No one wants to get this feeling to say, well, maybe you're not as good as we thought you were, So that happens to a lot of people. So weight gain, unfortunately, is one of those things. And the
Right,
GLP-1s have been able to help with those who are going through, and even some of the perimenopausal symptoms. I have
right.
patients who are like, listen, I've not had a hot flash since I started this med. I'm feeling great and I'm finally starting to lose weight, although I'm on other medications to help with my perimenopause. So these medications have great effects.
Interesting. So a lot of people blame things on like, oh, COVID, I had the like all these other things, and who knows, it could be something else, right? So
Hmm.
you briefly mentioned the master class, and I want to be clear, it's not just for women, it's for high achieving professionals. We just
Hmm.
happen to be talking about perimenopause. It's an interesting subject, I guess, and how these things are affected. But you have a master class coming up, I believe, April 1st for
Correct.
high achieving professionals, and it's all about emotional eating, stress management, how to boost your metabolism. You can talk a lot better than me about what the master class is going to be about.
Absolutely. So we do have a live masterclass that is occurring on April 1st. As you mentioned, it's at 6 p.m. Central. And all who are listening, you are welcome to register for this class. So you'd what you're going to get there. So, a lot of us are dealing with emotional eating, right? We did a survey and we saw that emotional eating is like a big thing. And that is a big thing that will disrupt you on your journey for your health journey goals, right? You're trying to lose weight, you're trying to boost your energy, you're trying to do all the right things, but you're being sabotaged. Well, what's going on? That's what we're going to discuss in this masterclass. And we're going to give you some tips on how to be able to overcome that, so that you're working with your body's natural evolution and you're not fighting against it. So emotional eating, that happens at the end of the day. It disrupts you. You did well throughout the day, but then at nighttime you're starving and you're looking at that, in the pantry and trying to eat any little thing. Like, what happened? Like, why am I like this? We'll go through that. The boost in the metabolism. There are things that you're doing that you feel like, okay, well, this has to be helping me to lose weight. And then 2 months down the line, you're still not losing weight. And then you're hitting your head against the wall, like, what's going on? And you're feeling that you want to give up, but it's just that you're not doing the right things at the right time. And given an idea of what you can do, that'll help you to just adjust so that you can get the results that you're looking for, so that you can lose those weight effortlessly, because you're doing the things, but you just need a little bit of tweaking. And that's what we're going to talk about in the masterclass. So if this sounds like you, I would love for you to join me. It's I can give you the link if you want. Yeah, so it's Truly Balanced. So it's www dot truly balanced with a D wc.com/events.
Fantastic. And like always, we will have the links down below. And I just wanted to quickly introduce myself for those of you that don't know who I am. My name's Lorena Tomasini, and I'm the owner of Mom Life and Health Insurance Agency, where I help families and businesses with financial protection. And Dr. Beckford, I do have one more question for you. What would you say is a good book, maybe for somebody that wants to learn a little bit more about, emotional eating and these types of topics that we've been discussing today?
Well, there are many books out there on emotional eating. I can't even come up with one at this time, but I know that a lot of book on stress management and mindset. That's a huge one that can help you through that. So soundtracks is one. Atomic Habits, that can also those are books that will help you to be able to get into the right frame of mind so that you can be successful on these journeys. So it's not directly an emotional eating book, but it's a book for you to understand how your mind works and for you to use that as tools to be able to help you be successful.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's always really important because if it's not good up here in your mind, everything else I think will be harder to do, right? Like you maybe start eating better and then 3 days later something happens and you go back to eating, right?
Right. And then you start blaming yourself. That's the bad part.
All right. Well, Dr. Beckford, I appreciate you being back on the 12-Minute Talks podcast to give the audience here an update. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Um, I want to just add for those who are going through this journey, just understand that this journey, it's not you. Don't blame yourself. Understand the physiology, understand the biology, understand how your mind works, and that's a great part of helping to support you on this journey. Also, if you're looking for ways to get in contact and know more about me, you can also do that. Find me on LinkedIn and Tamara Beckford or Dr. Tamara Beckford on LinkedIn. And also, I have a book that just released, a collaborative book with a couple of my physician colleagues. It's called Made for More 2. So, with that, I talk about being persistent and never ever giving up. So, if you're looking for a little motivation to help you along the way, then you can grab that book.
Fantastic. And like always, we will have all of those links in the show notes. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the 12-Minute Talks podcast, presented by Malm Life and Health Insurance Agency. If you enjoyed today's conversation, remember to share and subscribe. Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Remember to make it a great day.